so, Mike, more ads on Spotify. They noted that this is only going to be rolling out for the people who are already paying on the, or I guess not paying, or using the ad-supported version of Spotify to start. But I'm a little dubious about this idea.
Interesting.
So, well, here's the thing. Like, I personally don't look at Spotify a lot when I'm using it. I am a Spotify user. I listen to music a lot, as you know. The only time that I'm really looking at the app when I'm listening to music is when I'm reading along to the lyrics. You and I are a little bit older. There was a time, if you're younger, you may not remember this, where you used to buy a CD and you'd come home, and one of my favorite things to do, and I know that you used to do this too, this felt like a universal experience for people our age, was you'd lie in bed, you'd put your headphones on, you'd pull out the CD booklet, and you'd read along to the lyrics as you listen to this new CD that you got. I still love having that experience sometimes, so I still read lyrics sometimes when I'm listening to a song on Spotify. I have to imagine that I would find a carousel ad a little disruptive if I was trying to do that, and I'm not sure that I'm the only user who would feel that way.
Yeah, well, first of all, I think with you dating us like that, I don't know if we can get into Coachella anymore. I think you may have just effectively banned us from there from just crossing over the age threshold. But yeah, honestly, for me, this kind of was like an okay moment because as Spotify has increasingly encouraged musicians and podcast hosts to upload more and more video content, other than the idea that everybody's always trying to get more dynamic, give you a more, holistic user experience. I thought it was an interesting caveat to an app that, to your point, I almost never am looking at as I'm experiencing it. Now it kind of makes sense. They were trying to get the eyeballs there ahead of time, which is what you want to do when you're getting into new advertising spaces.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, that is interesting for me. I have the paid subscription to Spotify, so that's not really going to hit me. So I'm really thinking of this from an advertiser perspective.
Yeah.
I'd really want to know everything I possibly could about the people who are watching Spotify.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's to your point, Spotify, it's a little bit like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, they've really pushed video, right? They see that as the next iteration, which makes sense. That's not just a Spotify thing. Like, you're in this industry, you've been hearing for the last 10 years about how video is the future of everything.
Oh,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
That's why we started doing a full video podcast. That was one of the reasons why, quite literally. So we're certainly in agreement with Spotify on that front. But the thing about listening to music specifically is that it's not a visual medium. So I say I'm dubious about the idea, because if I am a user and I'm using the free version ad supported, and I find these visual ads to be a little annoying, I don't really need to keep looking at the app. I can just turn off the screen on my phone, set it down, and continue listening to music, and the experience doesn't really change that much, So I'm sort of curious about how this is going to affect viewership on the Spotify platform, and I'm sure they've done the research to look at this, but that's one of the questions that I would have. But it reminds me, Mike, of a story that I read a couple weeks ago about Netflix and how that model is changing as well. It was a story by Hollywood Reporter, and the headline for that was, Netflix price hike reveals streaming's next phase, pushing consumers away from ad-free options. And the story, we don't need to get into the whole thing, but it was from, like I said, Hollywood Reporter. Every month, streaming gets a bit closer to good old-fashioned pay TV. Now, seemingly, every service pairs its scripted entertainment with lowbrow reality fare and live sports. And increasingly, the monthly prices for those are making the glory days of the pay TV bundle seem that much more appealing. Take last month's price hike from Netflix, which raised the bar for its standard ad-free plan to an eye-watering $19.99 per month. $20 per month is a symbolic number, but it underscores how the model has shifted. Streaming platforms want to give users the option to avoid most ads, but advertising has increasingly become the big game. When Netflix introduced its ad tier 3.5 years ago, the standard plan was $15.49 per month, and the ad tier was $6.99. Now the standard plan is $4.50 more expensive, and the ad tier is just $2 more. In other words, over time, the ad tier has become a better value. Netflix, of course, is not the only platform doing this type of thing. So my question for you, Mike, is, are we witnessing the death of premium content?
I'm not a gambling man unless I'm sitting at a blackjack table, but it feels like we are slowly getting there to where just another thing that used to be available to everyone is heading towards the luxury category.
Mm-hmm.
They're following the numbers. This has got to be data driven, but...
Yeah, and it's driven by the need to continue to increase profit quarter over quarter, something we talk about, and we have mixed feelings about that approach.
Yeah,
but surely when you're looking at quarterly earnings reports in your Netflix and you're seeing that the subscriber base is sort of starting to level off and you're looking at, well, how do we continue to increase our revenue? Ads seem like an obvious answer. I'm sure Spotify is seeing the same exact thing when they look at their P&L.
Yeah. Listen, I'm just going to leave it at this for the advertiser. The eyeballs are at Netflix. Like, there are a couple of signifiers that, eyeballs there. Everybody knows it. They're all locked in. But, consider, do you want to be the first interruptive ad on somebody who finally, through putative price ranges, has surrendered and gone to the ad tier? I'm just saying that if you think this is the same game as advertising on cable, you are dead wrong.
Yeah, I do sense that there could be a backlash here, like you said. In some instances, these are going to be people who are used to having the premium tier and are now being priced out of that, and there's probably a little annoyed at seeing ads. So I'm not suggesting that advertisers don't play in that space because, to your point, eyeballs are there and that's where you're going to get impressions. Spotify, the same thing. It's the largest music listening platform in the world. But you need to be very thoughtful and strategic about how you go into these places, because if you're the tip of the spear and you're the first brand showing up in my new ad-supported model, similar to your point about ad frequency and how when you see the same ad over and over, it makes you start to hate the brand. I feel like a similar sentiment could be here. And the ads can't just be straight TV promotion like they were, or even just paid social media ads. This is going to require a level of thinking and creativity that is beyond what we've seen in marketing so far.
Yeah. You're not just adding another channel to your portfolio. You're entering into an established culture.
Yes.
100%.
100%.
And when brands enter into culture, they cannot take things lightly.